Hello, everybody. This is Sheri Flasch with the Esthetician Connection, and we are bringing you a Zoom room education today from Melissa at ToGoSpa. She's going to do a presentation on rethinking your retail. And I think this is really good for right now, not only for what's happening right now and the drop shipping that everybody's doing, but you all are going to be going back into your practices sometime in the near future, or not so near future, but sometime, and you want to have these tidbits of information for jumping right back into retail, because if your clients aren't coming in quite as often, you might need to boost that income by increasing your retail. Couple things, housekeeping. Of course, we're going to do a giveaway. I wouldn't do a Zoom room without a fun giveaway. So 3 of you, oh wow, Melissa, we've got a bunch of people in the room already, so I'm excited. 3 of you are going to win a 2-pack, and each 2-pack has 3 masks in it. So this set has 3 eye masks in it, and this set has 3 lip masks in it. This is one of my favorite formulas from ToGoSpa. This is their rose gold. Besides being very pretty, I find it extremely hydrating, and my skin looks super good when I use it. So 3 of you are going to win a 3-pack of the lips and a 3-pack of the eyes. And it's really super easy to enter. All you want to do is take a selfie of yourself taking this Zoom room class. So really simple, just take a picture of you doing the Zoom room, post it on the Esthetician Connection Facebook group page, and use the hashtag ECLovesToGoSpa. That's it. And all you have to do is do that so other people can see you're getting your Zoom room education on. It'll have the hashtag ECLovesToGoSpa, so we'll be able to find it. And 3 of you are going to be randomly picked, and you're going to win a set of the lips and a set of the eyes. You can tell my window's open and the wind's coming in. Also, sorry about that. Want to thank all of you for attending the webinar today. We do webinars every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 o'clock in our Zoom room. Really excited about the retail one. I was huge into retail when I had my practice, so I can't express enough the importance of maintaining a good retail level while you're providing services for your clients. So Melissa, I'm going to hand this over to you and let you do the presentation. And then at the end, guys, just go ahead, type your questions in the chat room while the presentation is going on. Anytime you have a question, type it in, and then at the end, we're going to address all the questions. All right, it's all yours, Melissa.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Melissa Jansma, and I am the Director of Business Development for ToGoSpa. I'm so excited to be here today. I know that a lot of you are familiar with our brand, and we do a lot of education. So Zoom is nothing new to our brand. We do this once a month. So if you ever want to learn more about our brand, I certainly encourage you to reach out because we do monthly webinars with product knowledge and sales tips and tricks. But what we learned about a year ago is that a lot of people were looking for additional education just to keep motivated. So different types of topics. And so we've been teaching a class called Rethink Retail, and it's one of our most popular classes, webinars that I teach. I've also taught it in person at conferences like the International Spa Association asked me to speak there last year. So I think that it's some great information that not just applies to our brand, but all of your retail. So it's certainly useful information across the board. So, and a lot of it is information that you already know. So a lot of times it's just that kind of, kick in the pants motivation before you guys get up and running, and we will be up and running soon and back in our spas, and I cannot wait for that day. And I want you to hopefully take away a few nuggets of information for you to be able to implement into your businesses as you get back up and running. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen and a presentation. Okay. So just to give you a little bit of a background on myself, I'm, again, the Director of Business Development for ToGoSpa, but before working for a brand, I was a spa owner, a spa director in luxury hotels like the Peninsula here in Chicago. I opened up the Elysian, which is now the Waldorf Astoria, and I've been in the business my entire life. So my mom's an esthetician, and I grew up in spas. So it's definitely been a passion for my life, and I've have a lot of experience when it comes to retail. Retail has always been my passion. And with that being said, most of the spas that I've been in, we've been one of the top performers in terms of retail sales. And that's using just a few basic fundamentals that I'm going to go through today. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with ToGoSpa as a brand, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on our brand as well, because I am going to tie in some ToGoSpa and how you implement ToGoSpa into the specific strategies that I discussed today. So in terms of ToGoSpa, we are a micro-infused collagen gel mask company. And so we have a combination of eyes, lip, face, and neck, and then we have hands coming soon. So for those of you who are familiar with our brand, we do have a new mask coming soon in one formula, and I'm not quite certain what it is yet. We've been tossing around some ideas. We are known for clean. So, and that really truly is a differentiator for our brand. No parabens, no dyes, no less than desirable preservatives are what you'll often find in them. So masks have been on trend for some time, but when you're standing in line at places like Target and Sephora, you'll see them just about everywhere. If you flip them over and look at the ingredients, most of them are not really skincare focused ingredients. Ours are all hyaluronic acid based with vitamin C, vitamin E, and aloe as the core base of all of our formulas. And you won't, again, find any of those less than desirable ingredients that unfortunately you do find in a lot of the other brands. And then our masks are known for that perfect impulse buy price point. So, you know, not your CVS $1.99 price, but not overpriced to where it's not going to be that quick little impulse buy. You know, pricing is very important. I like to call us middle luxury tier pricing for our masks. So one pack that Sheri showed you typically retails for $12 to $15. I always recommend $15. You can sell it without a problem at $15. And then affordable service enhancements. And we're going to talk a little bit about this as I go through the presentation. Low cost service enhancements. So you can do upgrades. Now, we all need to be thinking of ways to increase our ticket as we reopen our spas. A lot of people have been thinking of, you know, discounting. Rather than discounting, how can you add value to your service and provide a service enhancement? So those are the thoughts and ideas that are going to be really important as we head into reopening our businesses. So that's just a little bit of information about ToGoSpa. We're a collagen gel mask company with clean ingredients. So my goals for today are to motivate you to go back and do what you already know. So everybody knows how to sell. You know, you wouldn't be in this industry if it wasn't something that you are passionate about. But I'm hoping that you can learn a little something new and be inspired to implement some sort of new strategy. But again, if not, just that motivation to get back at it. And you're going to get some interesting information about if you're not selling, who is, and that should be motivation in itself. Especially now, you know, as we're all spending lots of time in the grocery store, is the only store any of us are going in right now. And then Sheri is kind enough to be giving away some prizes. And then at the end, we're going to be telling you about a great deal if you're interested in purchasing any products. So I think it's helpful to talk about first, you know, why you should be rethinking about retail, why it should be a focus of yours. And these are some interesting stats. So there was a 6% increase in the US prestige beauty industry. Now I'm talking Ulta, and of course this is pre-coronavirus. I think the world's going to look a little bit different, but I think this is important as we're exiting this crazy time to know what was happening so that we can kind of keep that in the forefront of our mind as we're reopening our business and figuring out ways that we can make sure that we continue to capture these retail opportunities that we're losing to prestige beauty retailers. So I mean, Ulta, Sephora, Nordstrom, down to, you know, your Whole Foods and, you know, your clothing retailers like Urban Outfitters are all capturing our retail at this point. So there was a 6% sales increase year over year. Skincare, this is important because for a long time, cosmetics has been growing and there's been such a huge push on cosmetics. But last year, skincare grew 13%. They call it a trend. As estheticians, I think that you guys, that's obviously not language that we use. It should be part of their daily routine. But people taking care of their skin over covering it with cosmetics is certainly a trend in as you can see in the Instagram world, social media. 60% of the industry's total gains came from skincare. And just in talking about trends, lip treatments and toners had the largest contribution. So when we talk about lip treatments, that's something to think about with surface enhancements and, you know, making sure that we as skincare professionals are educating our guests on, you know, why they need a toner and what type of toners they should be using. And then eyebrow and eye makeup as a whole, that continues to grow. So from an aesthetic standpoint, that's something we want to be thinking about. Are we finishing brows after we're waxing them? Are the guests leaving the room with completely finished brows, touching them up? That's capturing that retail opportunity. And brows had been on trend for a while, but from an aesthetic standpoint, I think it's just a huge missed opportunity if you're not filling in brows post-waxing service. Fragrance is up 4%, and then hair is interesting as well. It had a 25% increase. So, you know, you're an esthetician, most of you, obviously, all of you, but, you know, is there an opportunity to retail hair? You know, is there a hair-focused brand that's more wellness-focused that you want to bring into your business to capture that retail opportunity? So thinking outside of our box, and I think we all have to be extra creative at this point in order to succeed and to, you know, regain some of the revenue that we've lost. So, you know, not being so narrow-minded with having, you know, our one skincare brand or a couple of skincare brands. You know, you don't have to have a huge retail area. I'm not talking about huge spas. I'm talking about individual estheticians. These are opportunities for you to capture these particular trends, because if you're not selling it, someone else is. So some other interesting, so now let's compare to the spa industry. So in 2018, which 2019 isn't that far off, I do have those updated numbers. The spa market was approximately 21,000 spas. They had a total revenue of $18 billion. That was about 11%, and about 11% of that revenue is retail. That's $1.98 billion in retail sales within 21,000 spas. Okay, so now we can compare that to Ulta as a whole, as a company with over 400 stores, and they're growing. I mean, we'll see what happens now with everything going on, but they were continuing to open stores. They're still talking about opening more stores. With over 400 stores, they had just over $5 billion in 2018. So 400 stores, $5 billion in sales. And we know that a lot of that is skincare, right? Based on sales and prestige as a whole being up 6%, compared to our 1.98 billion with 21,000 doors, 21,000 spas. So there's a big missed opportunity. Our guests are going to places like Ulta to buy. So how do we capture those retail opportunities? And I think that we're all amazing service people. I think that a lot of times what happens is that we are so service driven because we're, you know, estheticians are caring about obviously your skin, but caring about the overall experience. And a lot of time is just talking through the products that you're using. It is really truly as simple as that. And some of you are confident with it and more and are thinking like, of course I talk about my products. And a lot of you are not. And I can tell you from someone that has been in hundreds of spas this past year that the majority struggle with this. And it's understandable because, again, we're so caring about the experience, the overall experience versus, you know, educating the guest on the products that we're using and sending them home with them. So the number that is wrong here is that 11%. And 11%, so that number, what that means is if you take all of your service sales and compare your retail sales to your service sales, that 11% was the average for spas. And that's actually pretty high, because a lot of spas that I come across are like 4 or 5%, especially if they're massage driven. Now, if they're facial spas, we're 11 to 15%. I'm in spas that are in 20 to 30%, and there are some amazing rock star places doing 50 to even up to 100%. They're matching their service sales with retail sales. So it's happening. We see it. I've heard it in the classes that I've taught. It does exist. So that brings me to the fact, if you're not selling, then who is? And these are interesting, because this is going to take a shift. Okay, this is how it's been trending the last few years, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens as we exit this closure of all of these businesses, and how we all have to shift our thinking in terms of, what these stores are doing. A lot of them are using testers and are, demonstrating products, and that's how they sell. So we're going to have to be creative and rethink. And the people that do are the ones that are going to be successful. So get your wheels turning now. Start thinking now of how you can implement these strategies in what will be our new world. So, and a lot of us don't know what that looks like yet. So, but we can talk about some ideas. So if you're not selling, department stores are selling. They were the original that sold skincare and makeup. And the reason why they did was they have these little chairs in department stores, and they have counters with people that are very, very sales driven. That's what they do. And so they're demonstrating the products that they use, not just makeup. You're probably thinking makeup, but they're demonstrating skincare in these little chairs, and they're selling. So they were the original salespeople, and they still do very, very well. They've shifted now. So before, in order to purchase a product, you'd have to go to a cosmetic counter. Well, now with all of the smaller indie brands, they can't afford to staff a counter like Charlotte Tilbury has here. They have these indie beauty areas. Bloomie's has it, Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom. They have these indie beauty areas where they have one salesperson that's, say, perhaps responsible for like 10 brands, but still a salesperson there to educate, demonstrate all of these products. So they know how to sell. So if you're not selling skincare, they're going to Nordstrom and Bloomingdale's, and they have somebody there that's going to talk to them and going to educate them. And then beauty retailers like Sephora, Ulta, Credo, and Bluemercury have been killing it for some time. Now, Bluemercury has a service model, so they are doing skincare, but their main focus is their retail area. So they're like kind of opposite of us in spa world. We're heavy service driven with a touch of retail. They're heavy retail driven with a touch of service. And then the Credo is interesting and growing fast because they're all about clean skincare and clean beauty. And their whole store is. They have very specific guidelines in which ToGoSpa falls under, in which the products that they carry. And Ulta has a little bit of a service model, but Ulta and Sephora are more about demonstration testers, and again, very strong salespeople selling skincare, not just fragrance, not just hair care, selling skincare. So those are kind of two of the main sellers, but who is really rocking it out right now. And the most concerning to me when I think back to, owning a spa, this would scare me in terms of competition right now, because the ones that have really truly upped their game and who are open right now, right? They are open. I was at Target last week, unfortunately, because it's the grocery store close to my house here in Chicago. So big box retail, Target and Walmart. So my Target here is one of the biggest in the country. They tend to get the updates in terms of merchandising, before other people do. So they have a massive beauty and skincare area. What is scary to me from a competitive standpoint is that they have professionals there, beauty advisors. to answer questions about skincare and about hair care. So they're upping their game in terms of being competitive with us. So, you know your guests are going to Target and Walmart. And so there are people in Walmart, same thing. They've upped their, not even just their beauty game, their clean beauty. So they're remaining on trend as well. And I mean, from a mask standpoint, my Target has like these massive tables with tons of different mask brands. So as I'm walking through those stores right now, it's the only thing that's open. It's the only skincare that's open. So if you're not communicating with your guests during your closure and offering them something, a lot of people had a ton of success with facials in a box because they want to support you. Of course, none of these places will ever obviously compared to the experience that they're getting with their esthetician. But from a convenience standpoint, they are buying products at these places. And how do we capture those retail opportunities? And we'll talk a little bit about that. Grocery and pharmacy, another one to keep your eye on. Whole Foods, I was just at a conference with their beauty buyer. They're totally upping their beauty game. I recently met with both Walgreens and CVS, not for the ToGoSpa brand, but they actually were looking for us to create a clean mask for them. So one of them reported a 60% increase in mask sales year over year. Online retailers, obviously Amazon is a whole different beast and a conversation within itself. And then Sephora online, Macy's online, all of them find the value obviously in selling online. So the other one though, I think that we all need to keep a little bit of an eye on is specialty retail. So your Anthropologies, your Urban Outfitters, they have expanded their retail areas, their beauty retail areas, and continue to. They started online, and then they saw traction online with sales with skincare and beauty, and then they ended up expanding. Next time you're buying Urban Outfitters, pop in there in Anthropologie and take a look at their retail. They are not just selling clothes anymore. They're definitely jumping in on the beauty game. But the next one, which I just gave you a peek of, and I like to say that this is mind-blowing and concerning. So if your guests are not buying skincare from you, they're buying it from Kylie Jenner. She has 171 million followers. She came out with a skincare line. I'm sure you guys, a lot of you are already aware of this. She also came out with a brow cosmetic collection, and she sold out within minutes. So there are consumers out there. Is from an aesthetic standpoint, we think, yeah, right. My guests would never buy this particular skincare. She sold out in minutes. So they're buying this. So we need to make sure that we're capturing that retail opportunity. So I think that's helpful to know that if you're not selling, who is? And it's all information you already know, but to see it that way, I think is eye-opening as we start talking about strategies for you to implement into your businesses. And it's very simple. So I like to break it down into the 4 keys to retail success. And we start with the most important, and that's you. That's you, whether you're an individual esthetician or you are a spa owner, spa manager, spa director, leading a spa team of salespeople. And then number 2 would be your merchandising. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for this. And inventory. This is the one that we don't talk enough about, and I could have an entirely separate webinar on, but we'll kind of go over it today, the basics, to just get you started thinking about it. But it seems like common sense, but it is the thing that I see the most. So I travel a good portion of the year and spend most of my time not on Zoom, actually in spas with spa directors. And I can't tell you how big of a problem inventory management is. And then back bar and demonstration. So 2-part. Utilizing the products that you're selling in your service, which makes complete sense from an aesthetic standpoint, but thinking outside of the box. How can you layer in additional types of retail opportunities within your service to sell more up your ticket? And then demonstration. So what I mean by demonstration is, again, for a lot of you individual estheticians, maybe it's demonstrating a hand treatment complimentary and doing a sale on it once a month. But for our spas, it's utilizing your retail area and setting up an area to demonstrate. It's hosting events, and you can do that as well, individual booth rental situations, pair up with other rental people, host some events. So, so these are the 4 keys that I'm going to go over to retail success. And again, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to type them into the message box, and I will happily go through them at the end of the training. So I forgot how adorable the salesperson is at Exhale. You and your team. So obviously the products don't talk, so you have to be the one to talk about them. And again, so many of you, and especially individual estheticians, you guys are hustlers, especially when you're working for yourself. You are the person and the only person that's going to be responsible for making money. But for you spa directors, spa owners, day spa managers on this call, you have to have these conversations with your team and make sure that it's part of every guest experience, and it's part of your front desk experience to speak to the guests about products. So many people are afraid to. They're there for a reason. They want to learn about products, and everyone else is doing it. Why in the spa world are we so afraid to educate our guests, not sell to them? To educate them on the products that we want them to be buying. We don't want them picking up those grab and go masks while they're standing in line at Target, because we know that from, you know, an ingredient standpoint, that ToGoSpa masks are better and that we need to be capturing that retail opportunity. But there's no way they're going to know that unless you tell them, like, oh, I know these masks are super fun and trendy. However, if you take a look at the ingredients of the ones, you know, that, you know, your kids, the unicorn masks your kids are buying at Target, then and take a look at ours. It's hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, E, and aloe. These are ingredients that I can stand behind. So, this retail as a whole and your team and you yourself are the only difference that will be the only difference in your retail revenue. So, with that being said, sorry. Why aren't we talking? What are the biggest challenges for yourself as well as for your team if you have a team? Time. Usually time is the number one thing I hear. I don't have time to go through all of the products. Time is money. That's what I hear. I always say, yeah, time is money. So if it's a matter of giving yourself 5 minutes to sell $200 worth of retail, do the math. You know, if that 5 minutes, if you can guarantee yourself that if you give yourself that 5 minutes that you're going to sell $200 worth of retail, then that 5 minutes is worth it. Do the math. Compare it to, break down your day in terms of service dollars and take a look what it would, how much money you could make with that additional 5 minutes in order to sell retail. And then the next one I would say that I often hear, and that may not work for everyone, but, you know, making the time to simply educate your guests. If you can't make the time in between services, you have to work it in to before the guest is relaxing, after the service. You have to work that conversation in before they're relaxing. It has to be part of it. They need to know what their regimen is going to be at home, in addition to whatever other type of products that you're using on them. And then knowledge. So this one I hear a lot about, and this is mainly in my spas with multiple people, and you know, the front desk people are uneducated on a lot of the products that are in the retail area. The estheticians aren't educated on anything beyond their skincare brands. They need to know about, you know, other opportunities to sell, whether it be eye masks or you know, different body products, hand treatments. So with knowledge, training materials have been at your fingertips. These type of Zooms that we've all kind of bogged our schedule with over the last couple of weeks, they've always been here. We just haven't made the time to take advantage of them. And some of you I know are better than others, but a lot of times, again, time is money. So you guys are hustling, trying to get all of your guests in, and it's only going to be worse when you open your doors. Everybody that's been waiting to get their eyebrows waxed, their skin taken care of, are going to be pounding down your door. Time's going to be an issue. Make it a priority on your calendar now to carve out, whether it be, Mondays, take that card, put it on your calendar like it's important, like anything else, to give yourself knowledge regarding the brands that you carry. And I can assure you that it will lead to sales. It's a motivator. Listening to someone else tell you about the brand, whether it's weekly, monthly, it's really just every time you've taken a class, I'm sure you learn something new, I'm talking like product knowledge classes. You learn something new in which makes you excited about selling whatever that product is. So get together with your reps, get on to the brand's websites. There are so many different things. And I have a feeling those brands that didn't offer webinars before, like we do at ToGoSpa, every month you can find a webinar for our brand. They will continue to, because they realize that this is a great platform for us to use to be able to get to so many more people, rather than having to go into the spa, coordinate all the schedules. We record them. You can watch them at any time. So all of that's available to you. And whether you use it or not is really going to be whether you carve out the time or not to do so. And same thing with training materials. Things are updated all the time. A year flies by like that. So I always, at the beginning of the year, part of my planning and goal setting, doing my vision board, my professional planning, is sitting down and taking a look at all of the training materials that I have, making sure that I have the latest, greatest, and adding it to my training checklist for those of you who manage teams. And so that it takes the pressure off of you. When you hire somebody, you have this training checklist. There's, this, and this on it. And that ToGoSpa has, this webinar that they have to watch, and they have their little checklist and they turn it into you when they're done, and you don't have to worry about it. So if you take the time to plan and create those things, then you'll have access to them, throughout the whole year, and it'll take the work off of you and things won't fall through the crack. And motivation. So motivation, what motivates you? A lot of times it's money, but I am not, unfortunately, motivated by money. I'm not one of those fortunate people. I'm your pat on the back person. If somebody tells me I did a good job or I won a contest, I'm the excited one in the room. So survey your team, survey yourself, set specific goals for yourself and hold yourself accountable. Give yourself a monthly prize that says, if I exceed this dollar amount in retail sales, do it for the year, because otherwise you're never going to do it. Sit down now. You have the time. You have a couple of weeks, hopefully only a couple of weeks, maybe more, to sit down and start planning out yourself. Plan out what your schedule is going to look like when you get back to work. Set your goals for yourself and hold yourself to it. Check in with yourself on that Monday when you're doing your training. What did my retail look like for the week? We blindly go through life, professional life, because we're busy. We have guests in front of us. We have our personal life. We don't spend enough time goal setting for ourselves and holding ourselves accountable. And you have to write it down, whether it be typing it. I'm a hand writer. I have to write my goals in order for them to happen. And then I have to sit and look at them on a weekly basis. Your retail should be your goal. So look at yourself right now, figure out what you sold over the last 6 months personally, or your team, whatever. If you're doing goal setting for team members, take a look at what they sold versus their service sales to find out their percentage. Then set yourself a goal, whether it be boosting it a couple percent to get started, and go from there and set specific goals, and then up your goal game. The goals need to be readjusted throughout the year so you can continue to grow and not miss out on revenue. So time, knowledge, motivation are definite good reasons in which you may have not been the most successful or have sold as much as you are capable of selling, but hopefully you've got some ideas, and if nothing else, just motivation to get back at it and to start selling, or motivate your team to start selling. So merchandising is the second thing in which is important. And a lot of you, again, have small spaces. You might be booth rental, but you can utilize these specific kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? I can't think of the word. Anyway, but you can utilize these specific points within any spa, large, small. It's the Blue Mercury rule. They rock at retail. So they do a couple things that I love. They make sure that is the product in the front or the back of the store. So, you know, the front of the store where you end up checking out, they kind of take you through a retail journey. There is nothing on the floor. If you take a look, they do not, that's dead space. All of their retail shelving is all dead space down below. They do not have products on the floor. Same thing, nothing too high with out of reach. And again, this is common sense, but I can't tell you how many spas I'm in where I see these basic fundamentals of merchandising just because of space limitations. Buy yourself a new retail cabinet. It's worth the investment in order, or hang some, you know, freaking inexpensive shelves directly outside of your rental space in order to merchandise and sell the products that you carry. Do not just set them up in your dark room. It should be where people are waiting, where they have time to look and view the products. And then the impulse area. So, and we all know what this is. I think of Big Lots, or not Big Lots, oh my gosh, what's my Home Goods? Home Goods is my favorite place to stand in line and just buy junk, whether it be like stale candy, whatever it is. Having that grab and go retail area, you need to have that in your space and set up an impulse buys. Your impulse price points are ToGoSpa. We are the perfect impulse buy for that. You just set it up wherever they're checking out, signing in, signing out, in order to just do a last minute purchase. And a lot of the other things I see are like lip treatments, lip masks, lip balms, sticks, any hair, like cute little hair accessories. And again, you don't have to be a hairstylist in order to sell the really cute hair accessories that look like little bracelets. I love those. The other thing I think is really cute are these little individual hand scrubs, are another fun thing. So many different fun things that you can put as impulse buys. So create that impulse area that is a trend. Most of Sephora's revenue comes from their beauty on the fly or beauty on the go section that they call it. And then is the product displayed on Main Street? So this is for larger spaces, making sure that that we're not shoving products in corner. You need to take the guest on a merchandising journey. The other part about merchandising that's essential is shelf talkers and displays. So I can assure you that you've tossed away some sort of merchandising item that a brand has sent you. You may not love it. It may not match the color of your spa, but it's informational. And when you personally, especially if you're an individual esthetician, don't have the time to sell the product to the guest, the shelf talker will. So this is our ToGoSpa shelf talker, and it has our price point on it. We have one with and one without, and it really just says the basics. But the most important thing is that imagery of that girl with the eye masks on. People want to know what it is. So, if you have this shelf talker with this little pop-up display boxes. Now, all of the brands you're working with have some sort of little mini display in which you can put desktop or where you're checking out. Or if you're limited space, you might have to utilize that as your actual retail display and not have your stock out. But using their professional displays, and if not, take this time. They want to talk to you right now, your brand partners. They are, a lot of them, if they're still working at this point, miss all of you and want to work and want to help you. So this is a time to reach out, connect with your vendors and see what merchandising is available and what education is available and what displays are available. And a lot of times they'll come in and help you too. You're going to be slammed say, you know, when you're in the area, would you mind coming and doing a really cute display with your new collection of vitamin C products, and have them sit down and do it for you. They'll be happy to, because what do they want to do? They want to sell their product. They're there to help you. You need to ask, because other people are asking. I can assure you, I was one of those people that asked and really used my my vendor partners to help me succeed, and had wonderful relationships with them. And then displays, again, you don't have to love your displays, but again, it draws attention. So this is our display. When I sent, so we have, I think it was Aria, maybe in Las Vegas, one of the large high-end casino spas in Vegas. When we sent them a display, they're originally displaying our products with these little pop-up display boxes. When they went to the display where it showed all the masks together, they ended up doubling their orders with us. So we send display, we're like, uh-oh, we're onto something here. We need to just send displays to people, especially, you know, our high volume, larger spas that have the space for them. So make sure that you have displays and know what displays are accessible to you, but make sure that it's clean and simple. Make sure there's a place for testers. And again, we're going to have to rethink this whole tester thing, and making sure sanitation is going to be key as we get our businesses back open. We want people to feel comfortable. So, you know, making sure that we have tons of sanitation products next to our items that they can pick up and touch and feel. And then a place for services if possible, a play place. You know, think of the model at Sephora, think of the model in department stores. Shelf talkers, again, I'm going to guess that most of the brands you're working with have these and you're not utilizing them. You might have tossed them as your order came in, or just didn't even know they were available. And creating multiple displays, you know, think outside of the box. You think of your guest experience when they walk into your business and what they're seeing. So just a quick little touch on merchandising do's and don'ts. Do guide your guests through your retail area with the signage. So, you know, maybe it's carving out an area for face products, body products. That's kind of what Birchbox opened some brick and mortar stores within Walgreens. And I think I had a picture of that. And didn't touch on the pharmacy side of, if you're not selling, who is. High-end, some of the nicer locations of Walgreens, like downtown Chicago by me, they have a luxury Birchbox retail area. And they broke it down by face, bodies, to make it simple. So you could go over and look at all of your cleanser options. So it's proven to be a successful way to sell. So it might be something worth doing on a smaller scale in your business. Using shelf talkers, do display prices. A lot of my luxury hotel spas were in like Ritz-Carltons and stuff where it's brand standards not to have prices out. I am so anti. I think it's important. And then use retail displays. Do not leave your guests wondering or wandering. So, you know, where's this? Where's that? Have signage. It doesn't cost a lot to create that. You can do it on your own really well. And then definitely do not use unlabeled jars to display products. That's why we have these little POP displays right here for you to keep it in the little box, and so people know what it is and why they want to use it. And then again, just touching on a little bit more in terms of merchandising, do's and don'ts. Do make sure you're in a lighted area. That's a simple fix. You don't need to call an electrician. You just need to look at your retail area and make sure your products aren't sitting in the dark somewhere. And again, I'm only saying this because I see it so frequently. Make sure to just take a look. You'd be surprised. I've done it myself when I owned a spa. Product placement. So again, shoulder to belly button rule, making sure everything is kind of within reach. And this is the biggest problem I see. Manage your inventory. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Cross merchandise, group products together. So think of yourself as a merchandiser. There's people, their sole purpose in Sephora is to buy and manage inventory. They're a separate person that is responsible for merchandising in the stores. You are that person. So that is a specialty. So go into retailers and see what people are doing next time. And you can do a mini version of those things in your spa in terms of merchandising and display. And so again, do not display items in the dark or behind closed cabinets. I had this problem when I worked in hotels where they had these beautiful wooden cabinets with closed doors and locks. So the front desk person had to go over and unlock a cabinet to grab a cleanser for a guest. Good for all of you individual estheticians, but bad for you hotel spas that are just, that is a huge retail challenge. Display items on high shelves or low to ground, and then do not have empty displays and shelves. And again, that seems like common sense, but it certainly is not, as I get to my next topic, which is inventory. So you cannot sell what you can't see. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. So one of my accounts, which is an amazing account, they have a bunch of different locations, beautiful spas, some of my favorite places to shop for retail. No joke, like I love the retail areas. This is not a picture, but similar, loaded with tons of options. I walked in, or I'm in all eight plus locations, and and there was one of them that was not ordering consistently. And I was so surprised because it's like their most popular location. And I kept calling, everybody's busy, no one can talk to me, I get it. And then all of a sudden I was in town and I popped in, and it was almost a year later that I'd been hounding them, calling them, stalking them, being like, what's going on? What can I do for you? They hadn't ordered in a year. And the words that were said to me was, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. We've been out of product. And I'm like, for a year? She's like, we sold out in the first week. And she's like, that was a year ago? For an entire year, their display sat empty. And a lot of times, you know, one front desk person will put the display to the side and then it just gets forgotten. Inventory management. You need to order products that you are selling and running low on, period. And it is the largest challenge for the spas that I'm in. And again, a lot of it's money, and we're all going to be obviously tight on that as we open our spas, but that's where management comes in. You need to look at your business. You can do this right now. You can do this over this next couple of weeks when we're talking about planning. So take maybe a webinar break one day and look at your business and look at the products that have sold and are moving, and make sure you have them in stock. So that is a simple way to manage your inventory problem. But what you need to be doing is looking at numbers and looking at your turns. And I'm going to talk about that because not a lot of people know. Some of the busiest, largest spas in the country, spa directors, don't know how to manage an inventory turn. It's from a professional retail standpoint, it's something that, you know, the retail world does, that as spas we don't do enough. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. Managing your stock on hand, and then managing your slow moving stock, and never running out of inventory. So what does out of stock cost you? And these are all things that you can figure out by looking at your numbers. And you have to look at your numbers, and you need to be doing it at minimum on a monthly basis. Look at what you're selling, look at what you ran out of, and adjust your numbers and order. Do not let your display sit empty. If your display sit empty, money is sitting on the table. So inventory, I'm not going to get into this too in depth, but I just want to tell you what a turn is. So inventory turnover is a ratio showing how many times a company has sold and replaced inventory during a given period. Calculating inventory turnover can help you make better decisions on pricing. You know, what products should you be marking down? I can't tell you how often I see people marking down the wrong products, especially like ToGoSpa. We know what our top sellers are. I swear. Marketing and purchasing new inventory. Low turnover is a sign of inefficiency. There are several ways to calculate inventory turnover. So to calculate inventory turnover, you need to know your total sales. You can take a look at your best selling product and your worst selling product. This is a good little exercise for you to do. So you take your cost of goods divided by your average inventory to get your turn. I'm going to go back to a specific example. So if the cost of goods were $373 billion and the average inventory was 43, then your turn is 8.53. Okay, so I will make sure to share this information with Sheri so she has access to it if you want to, you know, try that exercise at home with your products. But the main thing that I would say for you to start, because this can be overwhelming, is to look at the products, look at what you've sold, the top products that you're selling, and start setting specific par levels of what you need to be keeping of those particular products so that you don't run out of stock of your top selling products. That is a good place to start. And then the other place to start is to look at the numbers, right? I've been there, done that. I started in the industry at a very young age and kind of learned my lessons. And so, you know, looking at what you're selling and what you're not selling, looking at reports daily, weekly, ideally daily, weekly would be number 2, but really diving in on a monthly basis. That is going to be calendar time too, to set aside the time in which you need to look at your business. And retail is important, not just services. Look at your retail. So the next thing that I'm going to touch on before I get to our questions is back bar and demonstration. So we know that demonstrating products sells them, right? Putting them on people, experiential retail is everything. We have a step ahead of everybody that complains to me about Amazon or, you know, Sephora. We put products on people. That's what they come to us for. And so we're demonstrating products because we get to demonstrate products. That's what we do. We're service providers. So putting products on in the room is easy peasy. Selling those products should be so easy because we're already doing it. We just need to open our mouth and educate the guests when we're doing it. And we need to think outside of the box and start doing service enhancements. So for example, ToGoSpa, everybody always thinks about our little eye masks as a service enhancement. Easy upgrade, right? $1.50 cost per treatment. Some spas do it complimentary. Some spas charge $5 to $10 for it. But where you can really capture this is by doing seasonal promotions with it. Sheri runs deals all the time. And so I think our last one was maybe Gold Eyes or something. We give you ideas in terms of promotions that you can do with it. Gold did well for New Year's. It was cute for St. Patrick's Day. And so utilize those promotions and do seasonal enhancements so that it keeps it exciting for the guests and they want to try this month's seasonal enhancement, whether, you know, heading into summer is coconut, detox, heading out of quarantine. Hello. Bamboo charcoal might be a good time for the hangover mask because we've all been drinking way too much. I have. But changing it up and keeping it exciting is my recommendation to you. Lips, we do that as part of facial service, but lash treatment, it's a way to hush the guest while you're working on them. Think outside of the box on ways to enhance your service. And then neck and face obviously tie into facial service, but how can you incorporate them into other treatments? For those of you that are maybe dual licensed or work with other therapists, massage therapists that maybe rent space within the same building as you or are at a spa with you, they could be doing hydrating neck treatments. They could be doing the eye treatments when the guest flips over from, you know, their massage and everything drains forward. It's going to calm everything. So think outside of your back bar enhancement box and come up with a marketing plan. You know, in corporate world and spa world, we have to sit down at the beginning of the year and carve our entire year of promotions, because what happens is we get through the cycle of the hamster wheel, and again, it's your hamster wheel is going to be crazier than ever as you're opening this business and you've been shut down. So now's the time. Take this time to regroup. I know everybody feels stressed and overwhelmed, and we all have probably crawled in a hole at some point and maybe cried or hid out in their car from their 3 kids. I didn't come in the door from Target the other day. We've all had our moments, but let's think of a positive way to, you know, utilize this time to rethink about our business, rethink retail, and rethink about our business. Demonstration. So back bar, we talked about demonstrating products in your retail area, you know, doing events on slow days where you're, you know, inviting your guests in and doing experiential retail. That's what the retailers are doing, and that's why they sell. And what holds you back from doing those things? A lot of times it's the time to coordinate. That's planning. that's taking this time, and even post, COVID, we need to sit down at the beginning of the year and plan out our year. Or maybe it's not the beginning of the year because we're burned out after the holidays. Maybe we do our planning in, our slower months. But we need to take that time, and it needs to be on your calendar. Otherwise it just comes and goes. I am so that person. And then you don't have time to support it. Plan it, set that time aside, and hold yourself to it. And then what you can do is partner with your vendors for support, because they'll come in and host events for you. Use your slow periods, and again, like I said, plan in advance. And so just to recap before I answer some questions for you. So largest driver for retail is you and your team, and now's the time to plan. And I'm hoping that, if nothing else, I know a lot of this is info you already know, and you guys a lot of you are rock star salespeople. But hopefully you picked up something new to implement, or just feel motivated as you're opening up about the retail opportunity, and knowing that they're buying. Beauty and skincare is still growing, and how do we capture that retail opportunity instead of letting our competitors do it? Kylie Jenner. And then merchandising is essential, and easy and fun. You are all creative, so it's that time that you have to use that creativity now. Get in there, get into your space, look at your space, and see what you can do, whether it's putting a lamp somewhere so there's light, but utilize this time in your space to rethink your merchandising, and take a look online in terms of how other people are displaying their products. And then inventory, again, I give you an exercise to do, but at least start with looking at your numbers and living by them, and setting specific goals for yourself. Just like everything else in life, if we don't, set specific goals, we just kind of go through the motions. And back bar and demonstration, this one's easy, and we will make it easier for you with the deal that I'm going to talk about in just a second. But I want to thank you for your time. I hope you guys picked up something new. I hope it motivated you a little bit as we head out of this mess. And if you have any questions, my email's up here. Feel free to reach out to me. You'll find our products on the EC site. We are such a huge supporter of EC and of Sheri. So if you have any questions, let us know. And then I just wanted to touch on the promotions that we are going to offer, and then I'll take a peek at some of your questions that came through. So option one is promotional single masks. So this is different than back bar. Back bar does not have these awesome little stickers on it, and I think this is going to be important for events moving forward. So we always slap them on people. We say, if you've seen us at a trade show, we've put them on you. And that's how you sell. You have to put products on people. And that really changed our trade show game once we started applying them to people. But we're thinking, as we head out of this, if we even get to our large trade shows, of how we're going to have to change things a bit. And maybe it's handing them and having them put the product on them. And if they don't, could have the sticker on the product in order for them to have the information they need. So we wouldn't want to hand them back bar, right? Because they don't know what it is, they don't know how awesome it is, or what's in it, or what formula it is. So we came out with these promotional stickered singles, which are normally $80 for 50 in a box, and we're selling them for $50. And you can pick the formula, and they're available in all 7 formulas. So eyes come in ice water, which is our #1 seller. It's good for anyone, sensitive skin. Green tea, dark circle, warrior. People love that because it is great for darkness under the eyes. And then we have kind of our anti-aging formulas, our pomegranate, gold, and then the rose gold, because they all contain resveratrol. And then coconut, I love for hydration. For me, I'm super dehydrated, so that's my favorite formula. Bamboo charcoal, we talked about the hangover mask post being quarantined in your house with your families. And we have, what am I missing? We said rose gold, gold. I think I hit everything. And then lips, we have rose gold, and then we have coconut. So coconut's more hydrating, rose gold's a little bit more anti-aging. We're treating fine lines and wrinkles around the mouth area. And then for our option 2, some back bar. So we talked about demonstrating products, and here's an opportunity for you to get some products at a very low cost for you to be able to do some surface enhancements. So you can buy 10 face or neck back bar, and that's an individual mask. So it's going to come like this, not in like the cute little retail pack, for you to utilize within your services. And so normal price on that would be $30, and we're doing a special price of $25 for 10 of them. Their normally cost per treatment is $3. So it'll be $2.50 cost per treatment. You know, do it as a way to get them back in the door, or a thank you for coming back, or upgrade, sell it. 10 to 15 to, you know, I have places like the Wynn in Vegas charging something like $40 for it. So you can do what you want because your price is low on those. Those come in rose gold, which is great for anti-aging, and then ice water. So ice water is kind of your go-to formula for everyone. My med spas kill it with ice water as a nice little finisher mask. All it is hyaluronic, vitamin C, vitamin E, and aloe. And then the rose gold contains the rose extract, the resveratrol, and the gold for brightening and anti-aging. And so ice water is good for everybody, and it's really good post like medical spa services, and the rose gold's good for if you want to do something a little more anti-aging. And then here's my favorite, the collection boxes. If you have not seen our collection boxes, they're adorable. There are a bunch of masks in there. So a lot of people have been buying these as like a way to connect with their guests while we're in quarantine. There's 4 sets of the eye masks, 2 face, 2 neck, and 2 lip in there. So they can have fun multi-masking and keep hydrating with hyaluronic while they're waiting for your facial. So those are normally, they're $50 retail, normally $25 wholesale. You're buying 2 for $40, so you're getting them at $20 a piece, and you're saving $10. So collection boxes are available in pomegranate and gold. Essentially, they're the same. They contain resveratrol for anti-aging, but the gold's a little bit more brightening, and it's like sparkle or no sparkle. Some people like the pomegranate because they don't want a sparkly mask, and the gold, a lot of people love a little sparkle in their life. I know I do, especially right now. So those are the 3 different specials that Sheri will tell you how you can purchase those particular items. And then I am going to stop sharing my screen for the moment and see if I can answer some questions for you. Okay, another thing I wanted to note, this question made me think of it, is that for the singles, a lot of people are using them as gifts right now, like just sending, like thinking about you. It's a really inexpensive, cute little way to stay in touch with your guests as you're closed. Other people have been utilizing them as part of at-home facial kits. So they're using us and making us a little box of cleanser, exfoliator, and then you know, putting our eye masks in there, moisturizer. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with the promo singles now, and we have been selling tons of them. You guys essentially asked for it. We asked what we could do for you, and everybody said they wanted deals on our little singles. So the questions I have been asked are, can we purchase the eye mask singles with stickers? If so, mix and match, or are they in packs? So yes, you can purchase them. That's what the deal is. The promotional singles with stickers are 50 of them in a box for $50 versus $80 normally. At certain times you can mix and match. I don't know if these are coming directly to us, we'd be happy to mix and match them for you. Someone also asked if we personally offer drop ship. We do have a drop ship program where you receive a percentage of your sales, and you can email me if you'd like that particular code. It's Melissa at ToGoSpa. Again, it's Melissa at ToGoSpa, and we are indeed offering drop shipping. And then it says, can you use the microcurrent, specifically probes, over these masks? Personally, I have not done that, but I've heard many estheticians that have. And same thing under LED light as well. I've heard many estheticians that have utilized them both ways. And then someone also inquired about permission to sell on online web store. So we have specific guidelines for online sales. So if it's something that you were interested in at some point, certainly you can reach out to us, Melissa at ToGoSpa.com, and we'll give you those specifications for online sales. Are there any other questions? Or Sheri, did I miss anything? Is there anything else I can cover in terms of the sale? Was I clear on all of that?
You were very clear. You did an amazing job. So I want to thank you very, very much for that. You hit on so many great retail points. And as you know, of course, my wheels are turning while you're doing this. And there was just so many nuggets that everybody can immediately take back into their practice and implement right away. One of the things that I did, I had I was huge. I told you I was really big into retail, and that was, I took a lot of pride in focusing on what retail I had and then making sure that my clients were using home care. When I would go to work in the morning, and again, I'm going to age myself, but I didn't have digital booking. It was all like an actual paper book where we filled our clients' names.
I know that.
So I had that book, and that book that was as close to my lifeline as I ever had. I mean, that thing, I went everywhere with that book. It didn't matter where I was, it was with me. And so when I would go to work in the morning, typically before my drive to work was 30 minutes every day. And if there was no traffic, it could take me a little longer. But I looked at my book before I went in the morning. And I would look through the book to see who was coming, because I wanted to make sure mentally I was ready to get into the game. You know, this is work to me. I know I loved seeing my clients and everybody I work with, but my game face was on. Mm-hmm. And I would look at them, and I would, immediately you start smiling with, yay, I get to see her. And then you go, ooh, I get to see her. We all have those, right, as you're going through the books. And you know what they're going to be, the ones that are going to talk too much and you're going to go over, and the ones that are going to be late. And you all know what I'm talking about because you've looked at your books and seen this. So what I would do is I would say, okay, I've got these 10 or 12 people I'm going to see today. Then I got in my car and I went to work. That 30 or 40-minute drive, I took the time mentally to prepare what each person was going to be sold. And for lack of a better word, I hate to say sold, because it wasn't like they walked in and I started pitching them. They walked in, they still got their hugs. I still asked, of course we can't do that now, but they still did. I would ask them the other questions like, oh my gosh, how's your daughter doing? Did she go to prom? I remembered all the conversations we had left off on last time, and I would make sure that they knew that I remembered that. I even took notes in my charts. So if something big was happening in their life, I knew that prior to seeing them, I could make sure I asked them about that. But I also knew that in my head, that client was going to be something specific was going to be presented to her. And so I knew in that 30-minute or 45-minute or 1 hour that I was going to bring up a topic. And I thought of those, and sales, So I would be like, are you using your vitamin C? And the reason I knew to ask her that question is because the whole way down to work, I was like, Mary's been, my head, I'm thinking she's been complaining about pigmentation, and she's been complaining about aging. And gosh, I know I sold her that tea a while ago. I wonder if she's using it. So I knew immediately. And that was my 30-minute game plan before I went to work. And that helped me with, and going back to what my sales numbers were, I ran 45 to 55, 45% retail to 55% service. And I tracked it all the time. And for me, my sales numbers each day needed to be as close, as to my service numbers. And so I felt kind of unaccomplished when I did that. But I wanted to make sure that everything I gave my clients was what they needed, which was why I had that 30-minute drive. It wasn't about what can I pitch? Oh gosh, it was more about what do they need? What can I talk to them about? And then asking questions, how they're using things, how their results are, and then giving them product guidelines based on their concerns. Yeah, I like it, but gosh, I've been so dry. That's an opening for a mask. That's an opening for an eye treatment. That's an opening for something. A lot of times we'll just say, yeah, the weather is really bad. No. We have to make sure that we're taking the things they're saying and we're giving them the answers to those problems or those concerns. So I love everything you went over. I am absolutely thrilled that you did this Rethink Retail. I think some of the informational merchandising was crucial because I had a small space when I first started, and it was very hard for me to do merchandising until I got into a larger space. And I know getting that stuff on the floor, sometimes you're like, I have nowhere to put it but the floor. But guess what? The stuff on the floor never sold. Never sold. It was always just stuck down there and covered in dust until I pulled it up. So great points. Thank you so much for bringing those up.
Yeah.
The promotions that they've put together for the EC are awesome. The way you order them is you go to estheticianconnection.com, and all three of those are going to be up there. Don't forget that you can enter to win ToGoSpa Rose Gold Eyes and Lips. These are a 3-pack each. 3 of you are going to win this, and all you have to do is take a picture of you taking the Zoom room. Tell us what you thought of the class. I know I liked it, and use the hashtag ECLovesToGoSpa, and 3 of you are going to win this. Thank you again. I appreciate it. And I want to thank all the members for taking time out of their day to educate themselves and think about retail and going back to work.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I appreciate everybody taking the time to spend the last hour with me too. And good luck over this next, hopefully only couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. I know ToGoSpa is thinking about all of our partners and all of you guys, because it's craziness. I couldn't imagine being in your shoes right now, for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully everyone is going to stay safe, stay healthy, and when you start going back into your practice, keep thinking on retail, because this is going to be the way you're going to get back on your feet a lot faster.
Yep.
All right, bye. Thanks.
Right. Thank you. Have a good day.